Hello, friends. Happy Team Talk Tuesday. If we haven't met, I'm Jess Kiss, and I'm going to be your super fun host tonight. We're going to start off with a few announcements, and then we're going to talk about traveling for free with Scentsy, because that's a thing if you didn't know. So while I am blasting out these announcements just really super quick, um, you guys tell me in the chat if you've ever earned any, not just like right now, but in your Scentsy journey, if you've ever gone on a Scentsy incentive trip, tell us where did you go and tell us like what shocked you or surprised you or was your favorite part, like one of your favorite parts of going on a Scentsy incentive trip. And we're going to be hearing from some people who earned this current incentive as well. And we're going to talk about why we're talking about that tonight. Okay. So let's start off with some announcements. So, Director Boot Camp is open. That's going to take place in April. We have our St. Patrick's Day collection, our 70 Years of Cinderella collection. Those are open and available to your customers now. Transition month, it's here, it's alive, it's well. Hopefully, you've purchased your business supplies or you have a plan to do so and you know when you're going to be doing that. We talked about transition last week, and the recordings are on all of the team pages, so you can go back and get some tips from there if you need to. Um, Let's see, we have a $60 join kit that has the new product in it. So make sure that you're still using the opportunity group. We're going to be putting together a committee for that, and it's just going to get better and better. So make sure that you're using the opportunity group. And then Inner Circle. The application to enter the Inner Circle for the month of March is going to be going out soon. So check your team page to look at those qualifications. You definitely want to be hanging out in the Inner Circle. So be on top of that and be ready to apply at the end of this month. Okay, I see some faces. Very fun. We're going to be talking to some friends about this incentive trip business tonight. So let's see. We had asked in the chat if you've been on a trip, tell us where you went and one of your favorite parts. So Hawaii, Caribbean cruise. The best part was getting the new friends that you never would have had a chance to meet. I love that. And there's no trip like a Cincy trip. I'll never miss another one. She's not joking. She's not just saying that. She's not fibbing. Like you won't know until you go. Okay. So you just have to trust us. You have to trust us. Costa Rica, Hawaii cruises, they roll out the red carpets for you. Disney, Alaska, Wonder of the Seas, the room drops. That was going to be my answer. Does anybody else love the room drops on our panel here? They literally, since he sneaks into your room and puts prezzies on your bed for you, and it's super fun. Um, Hawaii, favorite part was the excursion and the room drops. Okay. Um, Super duper fun. So I've been to Greece, which was super fun. I've been so many places and I should have like wrote the answers down because I can't think, but the room drops are one of my favorite parts. The people are one of my favorite parts, and just feeling like spoiled, right? Because I know that everybody on this page is busy, busy. And to go on a trip where you don't have to pay for anything, Cincy, one thing that surprised me was they even give you money to spend. Like the year that I went to Greece, which was a really long time ago, I went on my first cruise. My one and only ever cruise was because of Cincy. Um, I ate pizza that entire week and gained 7 pounds. But anyway, they even give you money to spend, like for if you need a cab ride or if you want to buy a snack, because I like snacks. I was just like so excited. Anyway, they're super good. Melanie has earned 8 trips. You can read where all she's gone, some amazing places. Alaska, Mediterranean, um, travel all around the world together, but now they're your friends and they've been there for you through your darkest times. I love that. Cabo, Hawaii. Oh, I was in Cabo. That was a good one. Those fireworks at the dinner, like they turned we were at dinner on a beach and so it was dark outside. It was nighttime, but they had lights on. They turned all the lights off. And so like we're all like looking around because it was dark outside and we're in Mexico. And then fireworks just start happening. It was so super, super good. Um, okay. I think we've painted a picture for you guys that it like you want to earn an incentive trip. So I've always said that, and excuse my voice, I apologize. I have water. I have always said that if you had a 9 to 5 and you worked super hard for 6 months and you gave your job everything you had, right? You worked as hard as you possibly could, and your boss was like, "You did such a good job for the last 6 months. I'm going to give you a free trip." You'd be like, "Yeah, right." But this is not hypothetical. This is real life. Every single year, the trip points start on August 1st and they go through January 31st. So just a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we wrapped up the incentive period. Okay. And some of the people we're going to talk to tonight, like I said, they earned this past incentive. Um, they worked really hard. So if you're on my panel or you can and you choose to speak up tonight, don't sugarcoat anything. Earning an incentive trip is hard work. It's not easy, right? But it's so worth it. Okay. So why am I talking to you about this incentive trip tonight if the qualification period's over? It's because it starts now. Right? Like, yeah, you get to breathe for a little bit, okay? But it starts now. So let me just tell you the bulk of your points for an incentive trip, they're going to come from your PRV. And by the way, if your PRV is crummy, you can look at what you've been doing or how you've been working your business for the last 90 days and see why it's crummy. If your PRV is amazing right now, you can look at what you did for the last 90 days and see why it's amazing. What led you to either way. You have a choice, right? The fork is yours, the choice is yours. So your PRV, sponsoring people and getting them to certified, the more people you meet right now, the easier it's going to be to earn an incentive trip. Okay. The harder you work right now and the more parties you host right now means future hosts are waiting for you in those parties. Okay. And then the third way to get the bulk of your points is getting team members, frontline team members to promote to lead consultant. So it might take somebody who joins next month or this month to get to lead this fall. Hopefully not, but it's possible, right? And so the more people you sponsor right now in these next several months, the easier it's going to be to earn an incentive trip this fall, August 1st to January 31st. Okay. Okay. So I have some questions and I have some friends who are going to answer. And just a reminder, answers are 1 to 2 minutes or less. You don't have to answer them all, but feel free, right? Okay, so question number one, and if you guys end up having questions for them, if you're watching, you can type some questions in the chat too, if you need clarification on something. Number one, do you have PRV and sponsoring goals that you set for each month? And if yes, what are those goals and how do you work your business to make them happen specifically during the incentive time? All right, who
I
wants to
will
go
go.
first?
I'll go first.
Perfect, thank you.
So I do have PRV goals, and so typically for me, my goals every month are between $3,000 and $4,000 PRV for myself. During an incentive period, I set it a little higher, so it's between 4 and 6K because I know I'm going to have to make up ground at some point. As far as working my business and how I get there, I offer scent crates every month. I push the whiff box, any LTOs that we have, parties. Parties are key. I should have started with that. Parties are the main thing. And I try to have a couple parties a month. No matter how you party, just do it. I don't care if you do home parties, do Facebook parties, bag parties, however you want to do it, just do it. Um, what was the other part of sponsoring? So sponsoring is key. And I was going to say, I'll wait till the other questions to answer that part. But sponsoring for me, I now is the time to start that because those are the people that you want to promote. So that's what I did last season. I knew I had people coming on, so I pushed hard to sponsor them to the point where they got to lead so that I would have the sponsoring points that I needed. Um, I feel like I'm squirreling right now, but so yes.
That's okay. You're doing great. Thanks for your answer. That was so good. I love it. She said, just do it. So now we're going to have like a whole stack of bracelets, and one of them's going to say, just do it. I love it. Okay. Who else? had PRV and sponsoring goals that you set for each month during the incentive period? And then how do you work your business to make those goals happen?
Okay, so I will share because I feel like I finally like have found like the magic in mind magic recipe. So what I did was obviously our incentive period is 6 months. So I gave myself the first month to kind of get like hit the ground running, like just doing all the things. And what I did was I broke it down between the rest of the month. So my goal, I it was to earn level one by the end of September, September 30th, right? There's 30 days in September. And then October, level two, November, level three, December, level four, and then January, level five. So I felt like, I gave myself those numbers like, level one was this many points and this many sponsoring. So then what I did was I broke it down like how many I need to get for this and that so that I could reach my level one goal. And then I moved on to the next. But I found as I was working, if I ended up passing, I was like, okay, I'm already ahead. So I need to keep moving ahead. But basically, just breaking down the goal of earning a level or whatever it is you're going for, breaking it down helps end up breaking it down even further to, okay, how am I going to get there then? So, of course, like Becky said, the parties, the selling, upping your normal goal because when people say like an incentive period is like hard work, it is hard work, but it's also like tiring, but it's so worth it. Like it is worth it. So that's just what I want to say about the PRV and sponsoring. You just break it down. They give you those numbers and then just break it down by that.
Yes, I love that. So, a roadmap. Do you guys all make like a road? I call it a roadmap, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, who's next? Anybody else want to answer that question? Anybody on the panel? Should we
Oh,
go?
okay. I finally got it to unmute.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with breaking it down. When I first heard the trip, I sat down and wrote out what is it they give you, the tracker. I sat down and wrote down everything, what was every possible way that you could earn it. And I'm not a big PRV person, but I do plant a lot of seeds and I talk about hosting a lot. I ended up sponsoring 19 people during this incentive, and only three of them did not certify. So I set my goal at 81,500. When I sat down and wrote it down, I'm like, this is impossible, but I'm gonna go for it because Greece was my dream vacation. I ended up with 79,664 points, and I'm in the top 50. But PRV anywhere from 2 to 4,000. Um, Partying, events, fundraisers. I absolutely love fundraisers. I'd rather do those than anything. That's where you're going to meet your people at, and you can talk to them more at a, excuse me, I'm hoarse too, Jess. You can talk to them more at parties and events and reach out to them more when you're one-on-one with them. So.
Yeah, I love that. I'm like over here cheesing for you. You're amazing. I love this. You guys are also amazing. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else before we move on to the next question? No. Okay. So next question is, what daily or weekly habits made the biggest difference in helping you stay on track to earning this incentive trip?
Um, so every day I stalked my points, but I also had a roadmap and I would look at that daily to see where I was and how far I would be. And I also, like Noemi said, I broke it down so that I knew by this time I needed to hit this level. So that I would be where I wanted to be. So therefore, I knew daily that I had to be talking to someone about the opportunity or having a party. And I honestly talked about Greece constantly and I shared my why, if not every day, at least every other day, but it was definitely weekly so that people remembered exactly what I was working toward.
I love that daily sharing. I mean, are you guys taking notes? Because I'm taking notes. So if you didn't know, stories sell, right? If you need hosts and you need people to join your team, and sometimes someone could be considering doing what you do, joining, I mean, they could be considering joining your Scentsy team, but they're really afraid of failure. But if they can blame it on the fact that they're helping you go to Greece, they're like, okay, I was helping my friend, right? Like, so it is a way to like throw the fear out the window. Okay. So I love your daily storytelling. That absolutely works. I've seen people who had 3 weeks left, needed 7,000 points. She's probably on here right now. She had 3 weeks left, needed 7,000 points, and she made it happen by telling daily stories and getting her family involved. She got like 8,000 PRV in 3 weeks or less, like 2.5 weeks. It was simply amazing. Cold chills, like I literally have cold chills, all the things. So thank you for sharing. Anybody else have a different daily or weekly habit that helped you stay on track?
So I follow up daily with my, I won't say daily, maybe every other day with my teammates to make sure that they are on track because ultimately you want to promote your team.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for them to be successful and to know where they need to be, you need to coach them properly so that they know what they're looking for. And I was able to promote one of my certifieds to lead during the incentive, and she hit sensational start. So that gave me about 4,500 of my sponsoring points just by coaching her through to reach her goals. So that's like super important during an incentive, just to make sure you're tracking not just your own numbers, but where your team stands, because your goal is also to get them to earn the incentive. So you
Yeah.
guys grow together. So it was exciting and nerve wracking at the same time, but that was definitely a goal in addition to breaking down my goals for the week into daily goals. So we have monthly goals that I break down into weeks, and within that week, I break them down by day for my PRV purposes. So that helped to keep me on track.
And it makes it feel so much easier. Like if
Yes.
you were saying your PRV goal at the beginning, like that sounds really scary. But if you break it down, divide by 4, and then okay, that means I need this much PRV. That's only like 3 parties this week or whatever, probably more. But and you know what else is, so earning an incentive trip is really good, but you know what feels even better? Helping somebody else earn an incentive trip. When you've been helping somebody for 6 months work their business to earn an incentive trip, there's no better feeling whenever they tell you that they promoted. And then they tell you that they got the biggest paycheck they've ever had in their entire Cincy life. And then they tell you, oh my gosh, I just earned an incentive trip, right? There's no better feeling, like seriously. Um, okay. Any last habit before we go on to the third question? I feel like these people are pointing out to us that they are doing the things daily. They're
One
obsessed.
thing I want to do share though is people forget about this one, and it's an accountability partner, group, person, support system, somebody that's going to keep you accountable. We had our group, we had a group, and then every month we changed accountability partners because it also helps you learn what other people are doing, and that could help get you, pushed even further and opening the doors to things that you've never tried. But having an accountability partner or group, whatever it is, or people that are going for the same thing that you're going for, it helps really like push everyone and get us all like on the days that we're feeling down, we light their fire and then we're back to going.
I love that. Okay, the next time you have your group, I want to be in the group, send me a message. But yeah, if your friend says that they're doing this, you're like, oh, well, I'm doing this too, right? Like you'd be like sitting on your phone looking at the TikTok and your friend sends you a text message that like a picture of something they're doing and you're like, all right, I'm doing this too. So that's a really good point. Okay, question number 3. If you had to start over and earn this trip again, what would you do differently from day one, if anything? Y'all are like, we crushed this. There is nothing we would do differently.
So I would make my focus more. I focused more this time, I think, on my own like PRV and promoting my front line than I did bringing in new people. So while all of it counts, essentially bringing new people in is what's going to make me keep growing. And I am building leaders, so I obviously want to tend to the people that are already on their way, but I would focus more on bringing in more new people than I would um, on my own
Yeah.
PRV. So,
So I'll piggyback off of you and throw my own little tip in there. A lot of people think that when somebody new joins them, that person is focused on getting that 1000 PRV in 30 days. But what if you switched the script and it was, we're going to get you to lead consultant in 30 days, right? I don't say that to people because I don't want to scare them, but that's my plan for them, right? My goal is to have them have a launch party, but I onboard people with I don't want to squirrel here. I onboard people with a phone call and I have them getting their launch party 500 PRV. I have them getting their first host and I have them looking for their first team member all within a 30-minute phone call within 48 hours of them joining. And so they don't know why they're doing that, but it's because I want to help them make bonuses. I want to help them get on the consultant tracker and I want promotion points, right? Like your paycheck is a direct reflection of how many people you're helping, right? Um, okay. So let's see.
Okay, I didn't realize that I was on the panel until Noemi called me out. So one thing that I would change would be to not get lazy. Sometimes you get comfortable with the level that you might be at. I made an excuse for I didn't make the excuse, my husband did. And he said, don't just get to level 4 because we have enough points. We can just use our points to get my flight. So it won't be out. And then I saw my friend Amy, who we had both earned level 4, and she was pushing to level 5. And I was like, oh, hell no, you're not doing this without me. So within the last 10 days, I had 4,000 PRV and certified one of my girls and got all my points for level 5. So I don't like think that you can just get comfortable. You may have said, oh, all I want to do is earn just SFR is fine. But then you just got to keep pushing and don't stop until it's midnight on the 31st of January, because if you haven't been on one of these trips, it is the most magical thing you've ever been on in your entire life. So that is what I would change, because I could have pushed that 4,000. That level 5 I could have done in December, but I was very comfortable and was like, it's all fine. And then literally the last 10 days, I decided to light a fire underneath me. So
Yeah,
don't stop.
that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. That was so good. Are you
Can
guys?
I add something real quick?
Yes, please.
Start planting those seeds now. Like, don't think, oh, I have time and the catalog's not even here. No, you want to plant those seeds now. Now.
Yep. So
Well, because those seats now, even if you recruit people and they don't hit until incentive and they don't take the bite, but then they see it when they're there, those are still points. They still add up. 250 points will add up a lot. If you did what like Amy and you had 19 people that you recruited from now until the incentive, somebody do that math at 250 each if they hit that afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever stop. We have to keep going.
yeah, good stuff. Okay, how did you guys keep yourself motivated when you hit a bump in the road? Because you know you're going to have like a dud party here, or you get someone, a new team member, do you think they're going to like just be certified in like 4 days and then they do nothing? So how do you keep yourself motivated in those situations during the incentive period?
I made my screensaver grease and I just kept looking at that beautiful view and I kept reminding myself, if I stop now, I'm not going to get there and I'm almost there. Um, and then, of course, your friends. April will tell you, we literally talked about the incentive every single day. even if it was not all day long, we talked about it constantly. And I'd be like, I'm tired. I can't do this. She'd be like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Or she would say, if I earn, and I'd be like, no, ma'am, when you earn. So we had to remind ourselves positive mindset. But my background on my phone was literally it. I would open my phone and be like, oh, I'm going to Greece. I have to remember why I'm going to continue to work. So that was the biggest thing for me.
That's so good. I love that. They say that a lot of people have their screen as their like their kid or their pet, and it should be like your biggest, hairiest, scariest goal. Like whatever that is, that should be your screensaver. So that's a really good tip. Really good idea. Anybody else? How you kept yourself motivated?
So most of you guys know that I was going through a lot during the incentive period. My mom was battling cancer and she lost her battle in November. And I wasn't sure that I was going to make it. Like I literally had given up at one point and I was like, I don't have time. I'm never home. Like it took everything out of me mentally. Like I was just drained. So I will say that what kept me going was having those accountability partners for one. And I constantly reminded myself that I can do hard things. So those two things alone, like, held me together. My people held me together. I also showed up for myself when I didn't feel like it. I was on Zoom calls. I'm trying not to get emotional because it's still unreal to me that I actually earned it. But I showed up for the Zoom calls when I didn't have to, or probably shouldn't have been on a Zoom call. But I showed up for myself and I held myself accountable and I let my people love on me. So since he's a lot more than just wax and warmers to me, like people are family. Your accountability partners, your teammates become your family. And they pulled me through a really hard time and helped me to earn the incentive when I wanted to give up. So that's what kept me motivated.
That's so powerful. Thank you for
And I'm
sharing.
not gonna cry, okay?
Me either. I'm sitting over here like pinching my thumb. You're not gonna cry. You're not gonna. So thank you for sharing. That was amazing and powerful.
Yeah, I agree with Becky. A lot, I don't talk a lot in the groups and everybody knows that, but I went through a lot of tough times this year. October, my fiance's brother got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. We lost him on January 31st. He was in and out of the hospital. My second grandson was due actually yesterday. He was born December the 16th and he was in NICU for weeks. So there was a lot of stress. But I kept on remembering I'm going to Greece because when I was 8 years old, my godfather's mother used to send me postcards. And I told my daddy, I'm going to Greece. Um,
Oh, sorry about that. Wow.
I bet
You did it, girl. You guys are amazing. Okay, so that's it. Everybody has to find their group of people that's going to push them through and support them through. And I think that we all just had to throw our excuses out the window, right? Okay, pinch your thumb, don't cry. If I start crying, it's not cute, I promise. Okay. Thank you guys for sharing. You guys are amazing. Okay. Last question. What advice do you have for someone who isn't so sure? And I feel like we've kind of answered this question tonight with some of these answers, but what advice do you have for someone who isn't sure if earning a trip is possible for them?
I'll go. First, it is for everybody. My very first incentive was Pitacana, and I was just an essential consultant when I started. So, or certified. I was certified. I had just like been in a few months. But I will tell you to whatever scares you the most in earning the incentive, do that task first. So for me, it is always sponsoring. So Noemi had broke it down like what she needed to do each month. And for me, I needed to get all my sponsoring points done in the beginning because those were impossible points for me. Everybody has some tasks or something that they're scared to do in it. And that, believe it or not, is my biggest fear, not being able to do it. PRV is nothing for me. I have big events in the fall, so I know I'm going to have my PRV for it, but I can't control the sponsoring like I control my PRV. So I attack that piece of cake first and start biting it off because it's hard to make people drink the same juice that you're drinking. And so I would rather have the full 6 months and not be panicking at the end of the trip about sponsoring points. So my goal is always to have my sponsoring points within the first 3 months of the incentive. So then I know everything else is in my hands and I can control it. So that's my biggest tip. And if you think that you can't earn it, figure out what you're scared of and do that first.
Yeah. I love
Okay.
that. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say,
No.
I love that
Yeah.
she's really self-aware and she knew she needed to do that first. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this one I was actually really excited to answer because I feel like when I first joined Sensi, I had no idea that even trips was a thing. Like I didn't know we got trips. But as I became part of the community and I got to like make friends and meet people, it was actually Alex Anderson, who isn't on here tonight, but I owe it to him. He shared the crap out of the Disney incentive trip and everything that they were getting and their family. And I looked at my husband that day and I was like, I can do this. Like if he can do it, I can do it because he's my friend. Like he's somebody that I am on Zooms with, and if he can earn it, I want to earn it. So that was when the next one I earned Alaska. But something that I'm going to say though is never doubt yourself. As soon as you put that bit of doubt in your brain, your mind believes it, and then you are working against yourself. I am no unicorn. We are not all unicorns. I mean, maybe, but we have no special powers. Like it's really honestly, what is it like? Is that what you want? Because if that's what you want, you need to go for it. Like don't second guess yourself. And then what I've also learned is I don't say I hope to earn like Hawaii. I never said I hope I earn Hawaii. I always said it like I already did it. I told people I'm going to Hawaii. I tell people I'm going to Greece, or my husband and I are going to Greece. I always say my goal or what I want to achieve as it's already happened. And I have found ever since I started doing that, I have earned every trip since.
So good. I love it.
Believing in yourself is a big part. Like if you don't believe you can do something, then you won't. But if you believe that you can and you know what potential you have, like it's powerful. So just remind yourself like why you started with Scentsy. Remind yourself of why you stay and think about where you want to be a year from now and manifest it. Make it happen.
Yeah. Y'all are my people. Your brain only knows what you say out loud. So, I mean, whatever you say, and it's not just for the incentive trip, it's for anything. Whatever you say out loud, that's what your brain thinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also a lot of people thinks that, directors, superstar, they're the ones that's earning the trips. But we start at zero, just like everyone else. And actually, I feel like if you're just coming in as an essential or you've been here a while and you're certified, you can rank up from certified to lead to star to superstar to director. You've really got a more advantage over me. So, like I said, you just got to have the right mindset and say, I'm going to do this and set your mind to it because you can do it. I'm not like Melanie. I do not have the large PRV or Natasha, but recruiting, I can throw down on some recruiting. I remember my first trip was Costa Rica, and they called me up there. I was the top recruiter, and I didn't even realize I was the top recruiter in that class or that group that went. But it was my year. The last few years, it's been like 5 or 6. during the incentive, but this year I started early and I was laying on the couch with back surgery in July while everybody was at SFR and they said Greece. And I'm like, I got out that paper when I was figuring every which way. And I called Terry and I said, I'm going to Greece. I'm earning annual mentor and I've done both of them. So that was my goal and I've achieved it. And yeah, I'm proud of myself this year.
Yeah, girl, you better be proud of yourself. You all should be so proud of yourself. We're all proud of you. Okay, this was absolutely amazing. If we want to turn the panel off, if you can help me turn that off. Anybody can talk, like even the people who are in the panel. If you've ever earned an incentive trip, it doesn't have to be this particular one. And we left out a tip or a trick that helped you to earn a trip. Does anybody want to come off mute and tell us what tips you have just really quickly?
I do want to add something real quick. I know I already spoke,
Please
but
do.
what Amy said triggered something that I always tell my people is the thought of somebody when somebody says, "Oh, it's only the directors and this whatever rank it may be that go." No, it's the incentive trip and going for it is what turned us into directors, star directors, and superstar directors. That is what's going to help you promote and reach new heights.
Yeah, that's so true. And I don't know if you guys know this, but once you get to superstar director, there's no more promotion points. So they're on to something here. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Any other tips?
So just to give you guys perspective, I had someone that joined in July, but so right before the incentive started, she earned level 1 of the incentive, y'all. So like anybody can earn it. Legit, anybody can earn it. She promoted to lead and she'd already certified in July. She joined in July. She certified in July. So she didn't get the points for, or I didn't get points for her certifying, but she got points when she promoted to lead. She got points for her sensational start. Those are points that you need. And that people who are in higher ranks than you don't have the opportunity to earn. So just perspective, anybody can do it. You just have to have the mindset that you're going to do it and then just do it.
Yeah.
So I would say, I think sometimes it's confusing because we say have the mindset and just do it. And that's accurate. And sometimes it's like, well, what does that actually mean? So I think putting a plan in place. So let me say, when we were at SFR, I had zero desire to earn Greece. I was like, I want to go to Greece. I don't want to get on a ship. And then we went to a retreat, and Karen and I sat down and talked, and she was like, so let's talk about what's going to happen if you don't earn Greece, like if you don't work toward it. She was like, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing, and nothing changes as nothing changes. So I was like, I guess you're right. um, and so I was like, she was like, your business is gonna grow if you work toward earning the incentive, which that is the reality. You're growing a team, you're growing your PRV, you're meeting new people, you're being intentional. And I think that's really the goal of the incentive is for you to grow so that you can earn this trip. So sitting down and making a plan is going to be your first step. I mean, if you don't know what you're working toward, what exactly are you doing, you know? So I sat down, I made a plan, and my goal essentially was level 4. And then I was like, maybe we'll go for level 5. And that made me want to throw up a lot. But literally every person I spoke to, I was like, hey, I'm going to Greece and I need you to have a party. I had more in-home parties in the last 6 months than I've had in 6 years. And almost every in-home party was $1,000 party. Like it was people are willing to support you if you talk to them. So when we say believe it and do it, you literally have to believe that it can happen and you have to put the work in motion. When I tell you that for like 2 months straight, I didn't know what a Saturday was other than an event. I was so sick of seeing people. I was like, I don't want to do this. But I earned level 5 because I showed up. And
Wow.
you can't do. So show up.
Yeah. You gave up your Saturdays. I love that.
Also, audits have begun. I got my call tonight. So only needed one thing this time. Hawaii, I needed like 5 different things, but this time I only needed one. They only need proof of a deposit. So audits are underway for those that earn.
Yeah. Good to know. Any other last minute tips if you've ever earned a trip? It doesn't have to just be this one. All right. Well, this was absolutely amazing. We have taken a little more time than we normally do. We thank you guys for your time. Are you guys inspired? I mean, the people on here, I just feel like, okay, it's time to get to work. I need my accountability group. I need my roadmap, and we don't even know where we're going, but I need a plan. Um, thank you so much for sharing your guys' hearts with us tonight and how you stay motivated and everything else that you shared. I think we kind of said it all. So, by the way, if you're not on here, you want to show up live next week because after we end this recording, we're going to talk about what we're working on right now, and it's really fun. And if you are on here, don't hang up yet. I'm just going to end the recording. We'll see you guys next week.